Take a look at yourself. And how many people did when you walked in? Felt as if they were lesser than you because of what they did or what they said. If you haven't realized, thinking yes, let me explain to you from a different perspective. Categorizing only makes it easier for us to define people. Most people assume that judgment and criticism are the same thing, but that's where you're wrong. According to Webster's dictionary, judgment is defined as an opinion or decision based on careful thought, and criticism is defined as the good and bad qualities of something. See, when you judge a person, you make a decision about them.
That's where you're wrong.
And there is a major difference between making a judgment and being a judgmental person. I'm specifically targeting the idea of judging a person in a negative way and acting upon it. It's okay to not agree with an idea, but accepting that and still respecting that person is a whole other ordeal. Now, why judgment and being a judgmental person? I'm specifically targeting the idea of judging a person in a negative way and acting upon it. It's okay to not agree with an idea, but accepting that and still respecting that person is a whole nother ordeal. Now, why judge and spread all this envy when all it creates is negative energy? The idea of judgment strictly comes from envy. We have this abundance of unnecessary fear in today's society because of judging and being judged. Now, today we're expected to live up to society's standards. And if we cannot, we're automatically outcast. For example, if the teacher asks for someone to volunteer their answer, no one does. This is because kids today have even managed to create a stupidity standard in school. Instead of applauding you for participating, you're laughed off in the corner and labeled as dumb or undeserving of the grades. However, if you get a correct answer, you're labeled as an overachiever or a know-it-all. Unfortunately, most of you are nodding to yourself, remembering the time that this same thing happened to you. Now, outside of school, we face an even greater pressure. The pressures of being a teenager. It ranges from your physical appearance to your personality, the way you are. And it's hard not to care. And it becomes even tougher when you succumb to society standards. If we understand the importance of looking with our hearts rather than our eyes, we can change generations that come to be. It all starts with perspective. When you view the world in one way, you restrict yourself from the opportunity to learn new ideas. When you're thinking in this black and white mindset, you're not going to believe in new ideas. Understanding people and opening your mind to new ideas is an essential building block of life. In a professional setting, you're expected to work with all sorts of people. To make any type of connection or relationship with a person, you have to accept the idea that not everyone is the same. You talk to a person knowing that you're not going to agree on the same things, but you're willing to accept new ideologies. Now, I'm not saying to change all your beliefs and start thinking like me. That wouldn't be a bad idea, but I'm just here to open your eyes. And I personally believe it's much easier to accept how a person is rather than question every single thing they do. But what connection do I have with all of this? Because I've experienced this. It started the day that I wanted to join a club dubbed the Nerd Club. I remember walking in and she stared me down with the most vicious look I've ever seen. At some point, I forgot the information. And I misheard and I wrote the wrong information on the paper we were working on as partners. I look back to it now, and I was fortunate to get partnered with her. So when that happened, she scoffed under her breath, and I asked what the issue was. And she said, "No, nothing. I just knew it was true, that you were too pretty to be smart." And at that moment, I realized what it felt like to not fit in. At that moment, I noticed that in fear of being criticized, I didn't want to be myself. I didn't want to be considered smart because it was easier to be just a pretty face. Now, this is why I feel like it's essential that we learn about judgment. I don't want my kids to be criticized for wearing glasses or for not wearing glasses. On another occasion, someone told me that they were shocked that I can speak about philosophy, psychology, religion, and have opinions about it when I take off my glasses. I want my kids to be invested in themselves, in each other, and not live in a bubble of envy. I want them to learn the true meaning of acceptance. Thank you.